Hi, I'm attorney Renee Osipov with Chelle Law, and we assist veterinarians with employment contract issues. Today I'm addressing the question, should a veterinarian be reimbursed for relocation expenses? And the answer to this is yes, you should be reimbursed by your employer. You might be moving across state, out of state, across the country, wherever it may be from, as long as it's, a reasonable distance. Your employer should provide you with some type of relocation reimbursement. It's typically structured one of three ways in your employment contract, so you should read it carefully to know what steps you need to take in order to receive that reimbursement. So the first way, and I would say the most common way, is it's almost structured as a bonus. Sometimes they call it a relocation allowance, relocation bonus, and they will just give you a flat fee up front, anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000. The important thing to remember, if it's structured this way, as a bonus, it would be considered income, and therefore your taxes will be taken off the top. So you won't actually be receiving that full amount. So whatever it is, if it's structured as a bonus, just keep in mind, you will have taxes taken off from that amount before you receive it. But once you receive those funds, then you can use it however you like, as long as it's reasonable for relocation. The next way I typically see it structured is you provide your employer with receipts of anything that has to do with reasonable relocation or moving expenses, and then they will reimburse you directly. So this is, it's pretty typical. There's normally a max of how much they will reimburse, and again, it's normally that range between $10,000 to $20,000. And then you don't really have to. You don't have to get prior approval. You just need to give your receipts. And then the third way is probably the least common I've seen in veterinary employment contracts, but that's where the employer would pay the moving expenses, or like the moving companies, directly. And most of the time, if it's that scenario, you do have to get prior approval from the employer that they'll reimburse those companies. So that's kind of the third way. Again, you got to read your employment agreement to know, do you need prior approval? Is this going to be a lump sum that they're going to give you? And how that's kind of structured. And then lastly, I want to discuss, if you are granted relocation expenses, allowance, reimbursement, however it's structured, there's always some type of payment, like a payback provision or a forgiveness period. So typically it's anywhere between 1 to 3 years you have to work for this practice or clinic. But if you terminate your employment with them before the end of that time, you will either have to pay back the full amount of relocation expenses that they've reimbursed or given you, or sometimes they'll prorate it per month of your employment. So let's just say, for example, you have to work for the company for 3 years. If you terminate your employment with them before the 3 years, it's prorated. So if you work for 1.5 years, terminate your agreement, then you will likely have to pay back half of those expenses or allowance. So again, you want to keep that in mind whenever you sign these contract agreements. You're looking to the future. Are you going to be able to fulfill this contract? Because if you're not, you really want to seriously consider taking that amount of money at the beginning. If you have any other questions, or you'd like more information or schedule a consultation with us, you can check out our website, Chelle Law, CHELLE law.com. All of our contact information's on there. We have additional videos about veterinary employment contracts. So yeah, just check it out. Thanks.